Breaking. A mayor has just threatened to dismantle the British monarchy, and King Charles has responded with a power no one knew existed. Within 48 hours, one of them will be politically destroyed. This is the constitutional crisis tearing London apart right now. And what happens next will determine whether democracy or tradition controls Britain's future. Here's what they're not telling you. 5 days ago, London Mayor Sadiq Khan stood before cameras and unveiled the London Citizenship Charter, compelling every business in the city to sign diversity agreements or face fines of up to $50,000. His exact words, "London will lead Britain into the 21st century, whether the establishment likes it or not." King Charles heard that, and for the first time in 300 years, he deployed something called Crown Intervention, a buried constitutional power that allows the monarchy to challenge mayoral authority. Charles sent a letter to Parliament questioning whether Khan had overstepped. Then the palace made it public. That's a declaration of war. Khan's response came swiftly. Yesterday at 4 p.m., he stood outside City Hall, voice trembling, hands gripping the podium. The unelected king has just told the democratically elected mayor of London that he knows better than 8 million Londoners who voted for change. This is not 1825. This is 2025, and I will not be silenced by a crown that has forgotten the people it claims to serve. The crowd behind him erupted, but inside Westminster, jaws dropped. 3 journalists at the press conference reported the same thing. Khan's press secretary, David Bellamy, was frantically making cutting gestures, mouthing "stop," begging Khan to end the speech. Khan ignored him completely. He kept going, feeding off the energy, crossing lines that cannot be uncrossed. Then Khan aimed directly at the entire royal family. How many palaces does one family need while ordinary Londoners can't afford rent? The crowd roared louder. Twitter exploded within minutes. But back in Westminster, Labour's Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, turned off her television. She told aides she couldn't watch anymore. Khan's own party was panicking. Then came the stories that changed everything. James Morrison is 73 years old. He fought in the Falklands War and lost his right leg serving Britain. For 30 years, he lived in a flat in Croydon. Last month, he was evicted to make way for social housing under Khan's housing quotas. Morrison now sleeps in his daughter's spare room on a pension of $900 a month. "I fought for Britain," Morrison told reporters, tears streaming down his face. "And now Britain has no room for me in its own capital." His story was shared 300,000 times in 24 hours. The contrast was immediate and brutal. While veterans like Morrison lose their homes, Khan's office spent $2 million on diversity consultants last year. Leaked receipts showed City Hall spent $18,000 on a single weekend retreat at a luxury spa in Surrey. $18,000 while pensioners freeze and veterans are pushed out of their own city. Sarah Jenkins, a 62-year-old retired nurse from Barking, recorded a video that's been viewed over 1 million times. "I voted for him twice," she said, crying into the camera. "I believed in him, but he cares more about his image than he does about us." The polls moved rapidly. In just 72 hours, Khan's approval rating dropped 18 points. Among voters over 50, he's now at 19%. Even young progressives are walking away. His support among under 30s fell from 71% to 53% in just 3 days. Those are catastrophic numbers for any politician. King Charles didn't back down. At a royal reception for Commonwealth leaders yesterday, he gave what palace insiders are calling the most political speech by a monarch in 70 years. "The traditions that bind this nation together," Charles said, his voice steady and deliberate, "cannot be discarded by those who mistake temporary power for permanent authority. London belongs to all Britons, not to the ideological whims of any single mayor." The room went completely silent. Diplomats froze mid-conversation. Palace aides later admitted they begged Charles not to say it, worried about the political fallout, but he refused. According to multiple sources inside the palace, Charles personally rewrote the speech 3 times, making it stronger and more direct each time. He was drawing a line in the sand, and he wanted everyone to know it. At 11:23 p.m. last night, Khan fired back on Twitter. "The Crown lectures me about tradition while protecting inherited wealth and privilege. I answer to Londoners, not to palaces." The tweet was deleted just 17 minutes later, but screenshots were already everywhere. Political strategists from both parties called it amateur hour. You don't pick a fight with the monarchy on social media at midnight and then delete it. It makes you look panicked, reactive, and out of control. Hours later, Labour leader Keir Starmer released a devastating statement. Khan's views don't represent the Labour Party. When your own party leader publicly disowns you, you're finished. That's political death in real time. The markets reacted immediately. The pound dropped 0.3% within minutes of Charles's speech, wiping $1.2 billion from London's financial sector in a single day. Bloomberg analysts openly questioned whether London can remain a global financial hub if this chaos continues. International investors are watching, and they don't like instability. Protests broke out across the city within hours. Thousands of people waving Union Jacks flooded the streets from Trafalgar Square to Tower Bridge, demanding Khan's resignation. Counter-protesters clashed with royalists outside Westminster. 12 arrests were made. 7 officers were injured. 3 police vehicles were damaged. London hasn't seen street violence like this since the 2011 riots, and it's getting worse every day. Inside City Hall, Khan's team is falling apart. Deputy Mayor Sophie Linden reportedly threatened to resign during an emergency meeting on Tuesday. She told colleagues that Khan had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Another senior aide was overheard saying Khan's political judgment had completely collapsed. Multiple sources described Khan as exhausted, isolated, and obsessively checking Twitter, unable to let go of any criticism. One longtime aide who's been with him for years said, "He knows he's in the fight of his political life and he's not sure he can win." But then the entire story changed. The Telegraph obtained leaked documents from Khan's office. Internal emails from September show strategy meetings where Khan's team openly discussed manufacturing a conflict with royal authority to energize progressive voters. One email from Khan's chief strategist reads, "We need a villain. The crown is perfect, unelected, wealthy, traditional, everything our base opposes." Read that again. If these documents are authentic, this wasn't a spontaneous reaction to royal interference. This was a calculated plan. Khan may have deliberately provoked the king, expecting massive public sympathy for the elected mayor standing up to the unelected monarch. But he catastrophically misjudged Britain in 2025. The country isn't ready to throw away the crown, especially not for a mayor whose policies have made London less safe, less affordable, and more divided than ever. Constitutional historian Professor David Starkey called the leaked emails the most cynical political manipulation I've seen in 50 years of studying British politics. The Conservative opposition smelled blood and moved fast. Leader Kemi Badenoch held a press conference this morning that sounded less like a statement and more like a campaign launch. While Sadiq Khan attacks the king, she said, staring directly into the cameras, real Londoners suffer. Crime is up 23%. Housing affordability is at record lows. 12,000 businesses have fled London in just the past year. And his response? Attack the one institution that actually unites this country. The numbers back her up completely. Knife crime in London is up 31% since Khan took office. Average rent has increased 48%. Small businesses are leaving in record numbers. And now Conservative support in London has surged from 31% to 42% in just 4 days. For the first time since 2016, Conservatives are leading Labour in Greater London polling. Badenoch isn't just gaining ground. She's positioned to potentially win London in the next election, something that seemed impossible just 2 weeks ago. The next 72 hours will decide everything. Khan faces 3 critical pressure points. Monday, a vote of no confidence where his own Labour councillors may turn against him. Thursday, an emergency parliamentary debate where Conservative MPs will demand a formal investigation into whether Khan exceeded his constitutional authority. Saturday, mass protests expected to draw over 100,000 royalists into central London, potentially the largest demonstration the city has seen in decades. The question isn't whether Khan survives politically anymore. It's whether London itself can survive the chaos his fight has created. Britain is watching its capital tear itself apart in real time. Divided between those who believe elected mayors can challenge outdated institutions and those who believe some traditions matter more than political ambition. Not since the abdication crisis of 1936 has royal authority been challenged this directly by an elected official. At the center of it all stands Sadiq Khan, looking increasingly isolated, increasingly desperate, and increasingly finished. So here's the real question you need to answer. Did Khan just commit career suicide by declaring war on King Charles? Or did Charles cross a constitutional line by interfering in London politics? Who wins this fight, the elected mayor or the unelected king? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Do you stand with Khan or Charles? Should Khan resign immediately, or does he have the right to challenge royal interference? We want to hear from you, because this isn't just London's fight. This is about the future of democracy and tradition in Britain, and your voice matters. If this story shocked you, share it with everyone you know. The mainstream media is covering the surface-level drama, but they're not showing you the leaked documents, the veteran stories, or the internal chaos inside Khan's team. We are, and tomorrow we're releasing the full leaked emails that prove Khan planned this entire fight from the very beginning. What those emails reveal about his real plan for London will completely change how you see this crisis. Turn on notifications right now, because the next 48 hours will determine whether a mayor or a monarch controls the future of Britain's capital. This is history happening in real time, and you don't want to miss what comes next.